Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories. So if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from Victitious from the Bridezilla subreddit and says, am I the arsehole for not inviting my siblings to my wedding? My sister, 34 female, and her husband, 36 male. Just got married 3 months ago. I, 30 female, was appointed maid of honor. I was so excited to help her plan her wedding and I took on most of the work since I was unemployed at the time and she's a doctor. I won't get into details, but take note, she didn't have a wedding planner. It was all me. The time leading up to the wedding, I was miserable because of how the bride treated me. I felt like her own personal slave that she felt she could just kick around because she's the bride. Just because you're a bride doesn't mean you get a free pass to be a bitch. Many times I wanted to step out of the wedding party, but I kept telling myself to just bite my tongue and keep the peace because she's probably just stressed. After doing so much for her, she refused to invite my fiance, even if we've been together for 12 years, but invited my siblings' partners, who've been around for only 2 to 3 years. My sister and her guy dated for a year before they got engaged, so we don't really know him too well. She said she didn't want my fiance around because people would be asking about my own wedding since they've all been wanting us to get married for a while. I refused to do any more work for her wedding until she apologized to me and invited my fiance, which she did. Not exactly sincerely, but whatever. I was hurt she wasn't even grateful for anything that I had done for her and her dream wedding because it was expected of me to help. Cut to the day of the wedding and everything was fine. The ceremony was beautiful and the couple was happy. I was happy for my sister. By the time we got to the reception venue, I noticed that my fiance and I were on a separate table from my family. They were at the VIP table and I was cast aside to sit at the furthest table right beside the kitchen. I figured there was a mistake and I calmly asked the bride about it and she handled the seating plan. She looked me dead in the eye and said, "There's no mistake. That's where we belong. At the kids' table and far away." We were seated with 7 to 14-year-olds. The groom overheard us and agreed with me, but kept quiet when my sister gave him this "don't you dare disagree with me" look. At the end of the night, the groom apologized to my parents for what happened to me and said he had no clue his bride did that, but he didn't say a word to me as his bride told him not to. Because of this, I decided to not make an issue and just try to enjoy the remainder of the night with my partner, but I wouldn't make a maid of honor speech. My parents noticed where I was and got upset at the situation as well. My siblings knew very well I wasn't at their table, but didn't bother looking for me or wondering why I wasn't seated there. When they heard I wasn't making a speech, my 2 brothers walked to my table to tell me off, saying I had to understand my sister and the stress of being a bride. Be nice to her because it's her special day, and you're only a bride once. Yeah right, I bet they're divorced. That I'm a disgrace and a disgusting disappointment for not doing a speech for my sister. That I would make my sister sad and I was being selfish, making the night about me. And I was literally quiet in our corner. Needless to say, I wasn't having the best time, so we got up and left. We ended up in McDonald's for dinner and I posted a story of us getting burgers saying post-wedding meal. I made sure I posted it after the reception ended to not make it look like I ditched, but my siblings saw this as an attack to my sister somehow. Up to this day, the bride says she did nothing wrong, and her reasoning for putting me there was 1. I didn't plan her wedding exactly like she envisioned during the process, so I deserved to sit there, when I was doing everything she told me she wanted. 2. She didn't like that I looked pretty in my gown, and 3. I needed to be punished for insisting on bringing my fiance. I didn't plan for my own wedding yet as I wanted to be 100% focused on hers. Plus, she banned me from getting married before her since she's older. Again, because I didn't want the drama, I agreed. But now I just don't want anyone there, except my parents and a few close friends. My parents agree with me, but my siblings are upset calling me childish, but to be completely honest, I just don't feel like paying for shit people. Mine is a destination wedding and my fiance and I are paying for everything. These are our savings and I don't feel like splurging on these people. They, along with my grandparents and cousins, are all saying I'm wrong. But hey, if I was excluded from being a sibling at my sister's wedding and no one cared, then why would you be upset if I excluded you in return? So someone says on the back of that post, they said to OP, wedding planning issues aside, one possible explanation for all of this is that your sister really dislikes your fiance. OP says, in regards to my fiance, there's nothing he did to her that to warrant being treated so rudely. We started dating when we were quite young, and I, as well as my parents, love him very much. He was my best friend for a long time, and still is my favourite person to this day. My sister always hated that I had a boyfriend before she did because she believed I wouldn't ever get married because of my disability. I am epileptic. Her husband was her first boyfriend and she married him right away because she wants babies ASAP. Since she's already 34 and her goal was to be married before 30, to the point that she started planning and booking vendors even before he actually proposed to her. So basically, she's pretty insane. Her actions are always based on jealousy and the fact that I shouldn't be able to have things if she hasn't had them first because she's the eldest, i.e. boyfriend, engagement, wedding, kids, etc. That's why she said I couldn't get married before her because it was already a slap in her face that I got engaged younger than her. Basically, she hates that I'm happy. She doesn't hate him, she hates me. Now, absolutely not the arsehole for me. Weddings are about people that you love, that love you, that support you, that you feel comfortable with around you. And to see the way that you was treated all the way throughout this and then to come up to you and call you disgusting and disgraceful and selfish is weird in itself, that you're being treated this way yet you're getting all this abuse from them. And I wouldn't want these people at my wedding either, so I can't blame you one bit. And Jungle Rumble says, not the arsehole, you can't choose your family, but you can choose who you spend time with. Your sister and your siblings are arseholes. The fact that an educated doctor can state that you need to be punished, oh yeah, forgot about that, and not realize how middle school she's being really shows a garbage person character. She also outsourced the entire wedding planning to you, for free, and then thought it was okay to use you as a punching bag. Good for you for standing up to her about your fiance. An absolutely ridiculous reason to exclude him. Again, how anyone with any basic self-awareness can say these things is just beyond. I personally would be going no contact with all but your parents and then build your own family from friends who actually appreciate you and treat you with respect. Absolutely. A commenter says, have you always bent over backwards while your siblings treated you like shit on the bottom of your shoe? They are awful. I'm glad you stopped enabling their awfulness, but you should have stopped sooner. You probably need a good long break from seeing or talking to them at all, so you can evaluate why you thought it was okay to be treated like that. It's not right. That's not a dig at you. It's a genuine concern. If you saw a friend being treated like that, or your husband, how would you react? We all need to learn the difference between nice and doormat. This is a great way to start. Boy says, I will forever remember my uncle at his wedding. He was my mother's youngest sibling and I'm the oldest grandchild. There was, he has since passed away, only 7 years between us. He was more like a big brother than an uncle. After the church and photos, we're at the bar and he looked annoyed. I asked what's up and I swear he says, there's a bunch of bastards here I wouldn't piss on if they were on fire and now I have to buy them dinner. Irish wedding, so expect to invite relatives you might not have seen in years. And a final comment which says, not the arsehole as you say, they are being treated like they treated you. If they don't like it now, then they should have thought about it then. Stick to your guns and do not invite them. Boils down to this. You can try to not rock the boat and are blamed and criticized. You rock the boat and are blamed and criticized. So from where I stand, you could go off, crucify yourself on their lawn for their sake, and they will still criticize you for not getting out of the cross and cleaning up yourself. If you're going to be blamed and criticized anyway, and do what you want in a way that makes you happy. They can criticize you from the comfort of their own homes while you get married in a tropical paradise. The OP does come in with an update and says, hi again, so I'll answer a few questions and leave a quick update. I, 30 female, come from a family of 5 kids. I failed to mention this because I didn't think it was all that relevant, but I actually have 2 sisters, 34 and 32, and 2 brothers, 26 and 22. A little more on my sisters. They're the best of friends. They're the picture-perfect model of sisterly love, while I'm the middle child with 2 younger brothers. So why did I agree to be maid of honor? Well, because I thought it would bring us closer. In my mind, I believed that this was her trying to be more of a sister to me. You always hear stories of that sisterly bond around weddings, and I tried to nurture that because that's what they had. And that sibling bond is what my brothers had with each other as well. Any chance I'd get to connect with my sisters, I'd jump at the opportunity. It's more me just feeling left out than being a doormat. I was a very sickly child, and that is why I was mostly with just my parents growing up, while my siblings would be going out, meeting friends, etc. Which is what my siblings envied apparently. They aren't close to my parents. Bride had both of us as maid of honor because she couldn't choose just one. I later found out that I was always the second option, and I was just appointed maid of honor, so I do all the work while the other maid of honor got all the praise, which in hindsight I should have seen coming. While my brothers were busy harassing me about giving my maid of honor speech, Sister 2 was given her own maid of honor speech about how she absolutely loves the bride and will do anything for her. All that crap. She then conveniently calls all the siblings to the stage to toast the bride and groom when I was crying and rushing out and walking away from my brothers. So to the other relatives in attendance, I was making a scene and making it about me. No, it's not the first time she hurt me. Fat shamed me as a child, calling me a potato, saying things like I was a burden to the family because of my epilepsy, throwing all my makeup in the sink and wetting it because I moved her bath towel in the bathroom, calling me the stupid low IQ sister even if I'm a licensed architect with a master's degree when her guy friends wanted to ask for my number, taking my dream church from me, which is why my fiance said we could do a destination wedding at my dream country instead. It's just the worst she's done to spite me in front of my entire family. And no, we still haven't spoken since then, and she still maintains that I was the one who ruined everything by getting upset about the seating. Now for the update. We will elope. Just us two and a handful of close friends that were there for us since the beginning of our relationship. We have a small church wedding and a little celebration on the beach with the people we love, our chosen family, followed by island hopping with our entire party around the Philippines, all paid by us, because I will spend memories and experiences for people that love and appreciate us. The budget we set aside for a wedding in Italy will be put to an intimate 5-day wedding celebration on an island in the Philippines. 2. We will have our reception with the family when we get back home. The plan is to invite both our big families to a luncheon the weekend after. Collectively, this would mean about 80 guests max. Both our parents wanted to help pay for the engagement party and rehearsal dinner. They agreed to pay for this luncheon and reception instead, meaning they could invite whomever they please. They handled the guest list, so if my siblings are invited, I couldn't care less because I'll be too busy with my husband of 1 to 2 weeks by then. Here we can still have the father-daughter dance and a few other things like cake slicing, etc. We'll have piñatas, a brick oven pizza cart, coffee and pretzels, and an amazing Italian buffet with a pasta bar. Lots of fresh fruit and cheese, because who doesn't like cheese? As far as seating plan, ever watched Mamma Mia 1? Yep, think that. A long winding table where my siblings can be as far away from me as possible, and as close to the service area as possible without it being obvious because they'll all be together at their own siblings table. We'll be in the center with my fiance, his 2 brothers, and our parents will be next to us, while my wonderful sibs are by the end of the table, by the restrooms where they belong. I don't care at all if they're invited to this lunch because I really have nothing left for them, not even anger. I'm just so done with them, and I'd feel more for a stranger on the street than I would for these people. It's indifference. They've hurt me so many times that I'm numb to their existence. 3. No Bridezilla allowed. My sister expects to be my maid of honor in return. Cheeky bloody so-and-so. Definitely not going to happen since my siblings won't be present in the ceremony. I do not need her around. I do not want her around. Yes, she will be invited out of courtesy to the reception most likely, but we'll make sure she's set aside like I was. How so? We recently found out she's pregnant, so I'm planning my wedding around her due date. Oh well. Luckily, she's due around June, which was the month she wanted. So if she does decide to attend with a newborn and her hus, well then she's going to be at the kiddie table and told to step out when baby starts to cry. In the end, our wedding day is for us, and eloping is the only way I feel like we could just sit and enjoy our special day together away from all my siblings and family issues. Then when we get back, have a get-together lunch with some good food and good fun, which is really all it is to me. A lunch. Luckily, fiance's fam isn't as insane as mine is. So there you have it. Thank you for all your messages and comments and insights. I really was going a bit loco back then, thinking I was overreacting, but thank you so much for the clarity. Cheers to the end of this emotionally draining year. So there was a couple of comments to OP on this one. Outrageous Smile says, but you will invite them to the party. It's like saying, no matter what happened, come to my wedding. Sorry, but I think there is no way to avoid drama with these siblings. OP says thank you for the concern, but they aren't coming to the wedding. Just lunch after the fact, as in minimum 2 weeks after my wedding. They can do whatever drama they want during lunch because they'll be the ones who look bad and I'll just laugh. I would have been married by then and done celebrating with my closest friends weeks prior. So by then I'll just be enjoying some pizza and wine with a husband. Angry says, OP said they're just jealous of the attention OP got for being sickly when she was a kid. Sometimes parents can become so preoccupied with a sick child that they wind up neglecting other kids. If that's the case here, then Sibs would have a good reason to be angry. But they're mad at the wrong person. OP didn't ask for any of this. Anyway, these people are adults and they need to get their shit together. They're old enough to realize none of this is OP's fault. OP says my parents were actually very supportive and did all they could to be as fair to all of us, so I really can't put fault on them. They're really amazing parents. I wasn't treated any different. I just didn't have many friends being absent from school constantly, so I'd hang out with my mum. She's honestly my best friend. It was okay growing up, but the jealousy really was evident when we were in our 20s for whatever reason. Parents are allowed to be closer to one child if the others treat them like trash. And I was kind of felt left afterwards that there's certainly more drama to come down the road. And, I really hope that there isn't, but OP telling us that she's pregnant, I can see a show being made about that. I mean, some of the behavior we've seen already is already wild from her, so it wouldn't surprise me. I'm certainly glad that you're having your wedding elsewhere and, you're eloping, because that sounds like the best possible scenario for you. It sounds like you have a good wedding with the people that do support you around you and you're going to have a good time. So I'm incredibly glad about that. In some ways, I think, why even attend this party afterwards? I mean, it sounds like you got a very different mindset to me anyway, that you can just look past it. But I think for myself, if I was in that situation, it's a very much a me problem here. I'd be worried about what are these other people going to do. You said about the crying newborn should be told to step out, but that's going to cause drama in itself. There's the whole sitting next to the restrooms and, is there going to be complaints about that? It just feels like you're always going to be looking over your shoulder at that venue rather than enjoying yourself. Again, that might be just a me problem there. And I just feel like I can't be asked with that kind of stuff, I just feel like, you crack on with your little party. You guys have a good time. Might pop in, say hello for a couple of minutes, but I'm going down the arcade to play some video games and have a good time. Went to a traditional arcade a couple of months back and it was absolutely amazing. Old school games, I'm going off on one. But anyway, now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know in the comments below. If you have a moment of your time, of course. And let's crack on with another story, which comes from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit. Doesn't have an update as yet, from FrostyCare2341, who says, Am I the arsehole for refusing to go into another room so my fiance and the baby could sleep alone? My fiance, Jen, 29 female, just gave birth to our daughter 2 months ago. She strictly breastfeeds, so as you can imagine, she gets far less sleep than I do. During the day, I help with changing or holding her, but all feedings are up to Jen. The baby outright refuses a bottle. We have tried several times, but ultimately, we are both okay with this. Anyways, I'm kind of an independent startup video game developer. I did make one video game 2 years ago, but it honestly wasn't that great. So while I do get revenue from it, there's definitely not much or even a livable wage. This time around, however, I'm working with 4 other people and the game is turning out great. I work a 9 to 5, but after getting home, having dinner with my fiance and looking after the baby for a while, I jump on and work on the game. For the past 2 to 3 nights, I've been up until 1 to 2 AM working on the game and I've been ultra tired. I snore like a maniac when I'm tired. It's super embarrassing because I truly sound like a Mack truck. Yesterday, the baby had her 2-month shots and she was so fussy. Cried way more than normal. It was super hard for my fiance to get her sleep. I finally went to bed around 2 AM and my fiance immediately asked me to sleep on the couch so I wouldn't wake the baby with my snoring. I said no. I was so tired and the couch is not comfortable at all. I had to work early. I wanted to sleep. She didn't fight it, but she called me a fucking prick and walked out of the room with the baby. I woke up this morning to the baby in the crib in the nursery and my fiance asleep on the floor with no pillows or blankets. She still won't talk to me. And we're starting the comments with Bat Pig Mama, who says, "You're the arsehole, and anyone who voted you not the arsehole because being two new stressed out parents is also an arsehole. Do they know what combo is required for a breastfeeding mother to keep and maintain a milk supply? Sleep, not stress, proper diet, and water. The man knows he snores, and snores hard. He willingly stayed awake to work on a video game that is not his primary income until 2 a.m, knowing he needed to be up for his full-time primary job early in the morning. He made that choice, willingly, while he knew his daughter got shot and was in a fussy mood. His wife struggled to get the baby down once already, so he goes in the room and starts snoring and then wakes the baby, and refuses to leave when asked because he's tired. Oh boo-hoo, poor you. The wife has no choice to be up with the baby, feed the baby, etc. You had a choice to go to bed early and you chose not to. That aside, are you aware of the percent of accidents, baby drops, heightened risks of PPA and PPD that a new mother goes through when sleep deprived?" KJB says, "You know what's less comfortable than the couch? Chronic sleep deprivation from a baby using you as their personal milk machine every 90 to 120 minutes for months at a time. And the overwhelming pressure of being solely responsible for keeping a fussy baby alive with your boobs while you come down from the biggest hormone shift a person can experience in their lives. You're the arsehole. Volunteer to do all the diapers for the next few nights and get some breathe right strips." Alan Witch says, "You're the arsehole. Your fiance is right about you. She has taken nearly full care of a fussy newborn on minimal sleep, and you think it's okay to disrupt her and the baby's sleep even more, and then cite your little late night hobby as an actual valid reason to treat her like that. You're an arsehole. Yes, I am a software dev, and I have some small apps on the market too, and I would never dream of treating the people I love the way you do. Shape up." And I did have a look through the comments to see if I could find any of those alternative ones that were mentioned, but actually couldn't find any. There was a few deleted there, so that might have been them. But what do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being involved, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.